Every haunting has a beginning and an end. But in this place, one becomes the other. Step closer. The lantern's glow will guide you. What you are about to hear are true stories of hauntings all over the world. Welcome to Help, I'm Haunted. Hello, my darlings. Help, I'm haunted. It's Thursday night, and I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. It is Thursday. I got to remember that because, on Tuesday, I got messed up a little bit, and I said, it's Saturday. And boy, everybody ate my lunch, but it was okay. It was okay. It was kind of funny. So anyway, my darlings, welcome. It is Thursday, October the 16th of 2025. Less than 2 weeks. And I've got a story for you tonight. It's going to be, so I am going to put up the disclaimer because, sometimes there are things that do more than go bump in the night. So I will, because everything that I tell you is true and my experience, and that's what it is. So welcome to each and every one of you. We have 3 more weeks of this series because we have 2 more before Halloween and then 1 more after in the first week of November. And I'm going to take a vote, and we're going to see which story that you all like the best. So I'll put a poll on the last one. I'll put a poll in the chat, and we'll definitely let you know which one. Now, the other thing I want to tell you now tonight is that we have a giveaway. Another giveaway. Here we are, Thursday night, right before Halloween. Hello. And I'll tell you about my lip color in a minute. Okay, so the next giveaway is this wonderful Beacon TV. If you like paranormal, authentic paranormal investigations, movies, series, this is for you. And it is a 1-month subscription. Now, my favorite of all of these, all of those programs, is with Shane Pittman, Dave Schrader, and Cindy Gaza. Now, if you recognize those names, they were on the Discovery Plus Holzer. They were on the Holzer Files. And I love that program. But for some reason, Travel Channel and Discovery kicked them off. I don't know why. It was wonderful. So they have recreated this, and it's called Paranormal Mysteries. They talk about Bigfoot, UFO, ghost, everything. Last week they were in Savannah, Georgia, and boy, oh boy, it was a good one. So even if you don't win, step on over and check them out because they are good. They are good. So that's our giveaway tonight. And I also want to thank you. And True Oracle is here. Welcome. Hold on. I got to do the little cheering. Somebody said I need to announce that because these noises startle people. So, okay, I get it. So I'm about to cause a noise. Here we are. True Oracle is here. And because of you, we have a huge growth. We're now over 10,000. And when we reach 13,000, which I don't think it's going to be very long, the way it's really popping, going good, I don't think it's going to be long at all. But when we reach 13,000, we're going to have a huge, big giveaway. And you know what? I found an extra House of Zelda deck today in my little stash. And I've been keeping him. And he's just dying, no pun intended, to go to a wonderful home. And we may give that away as a prize. If you are out of the United States, then we'll work out a big reading with me and a moon phase, something like that. I think I got to talk to Mrs. Marie. But won't that be wonderful? Yeah, so that's what we'll do. But when we reach 13,000 on True Oracle, that's what we're going to do. Now, I will tell you that yesterday, YouTube did go into a little frenzy. I was uploading and everybody's like, oh no, they're taking your videos down. They're not. They're not uploading. They're not accepting your videos. Well, it was YouTube. It wasn't anything that I could do about it. So, but if that happens tonight, and look, Paranormal PD is here ready for story time. So if that happens tonight, just hang loose. Okay. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. We'll get to it. It's going to be okay. And one more thing, my darlings, don't forget your grifting psychic. I got to say that. Yes. There we go. Now, I got to have a little drink. Someone said that they liked my lip color. After last week, when I said I wanted a berry lip color, one of you beautiful people, MJ, sent me a little website and I ordered, and it is Golden Rose shade 117. And oh, I like it. It's beautiful. I got two of them. One is a little bit more pink, and then this one. And y'all are talking about we're going to do the makeup tutorial, and we may have some things to share with you. But talking about your weather, thank you so much, my darlings. Talking about the weather, of all the summer, tonight I have the sweatshirt on and I'm wearing shorts. If that tells you anything. Shorts and my sweatshirt. So there we go. And look at Petey. He needs to kiss, but we're not doing that because he's a biter. He's a biter. Thank you. And he's purring to beat the band. So thank you, my darlings. Thank you. Okay. And he's shedding like crazy. I don't have any announcements tonight other than what I did. Now, by the way, I always wear an ombre lip. You ladies out there, the men, okay, just blank out for just a few seconds. I always do an ombre lip where I put a little darker in the corners and I line it with a little darker, because if I put this on, as my grandmother would say, it makes me look like a streetwalker. So I've got to be careful. Okay, here we go. And I got to put this man down. Look at him. He's in love, and so am I. Oh, don't you dare bite mommy. All right, here we go. What is it? Okay, blank out. Just blank out. All right, we're back again. Come on back, gentlemen. Come on back. And that's why my voice is a little funky. I have been talking all day, plus the air conditioning has been just like cycle. Whatever. Thank you. Miss Smith, Lady Zelda, you're always, thank you. Especially stunning. I don't know if it's your eye makeup, but it's gorgeous. Thank you. I got ready a little early tonight because I was doing some other things and had a Zoom call that I had to go on. So there we are. Now, my darlings, this is a good one. This is a good one. True story. And you can see the setting, and I always make the settings so I can just give you an idea. I don't know if you can see. Let me take this banner down. I think you all know. Let me hide it so you can see. See there? Right here. That little candle. And now this is a mausoleum. This is a cemetery out in the middle of God's country. And I'm calling it that because, quite frankly, only God can find it. I'm not even sure that I could find it again. This was in Virginia. I'm driving around. I was working for the Psychic Friends Network. Just took my husband to the ship, getting ready for a 6-month cruise. And on the way back, after saying goodbye, I passed by this, and we all know that Virginia is just rich in history and rich in paranormal history, including the house that I lived in. I'll be telling that story soon. Now, I'm driving down the road and I'm thinking, you know what? Instead of going this way, I've never been in a particular area before. I'm just going to go ahead and go around another way. Well, that really wasn't the right thing to do. And remember how I tell you everything not to do. I was the poster child in the paranormal community for that one, because at this time I was also studying in the Edgar Cayce Society. And they did not want any of us doing any of this paranormal stuff. You could not tell me differently. I had some buddies there, another lady married, another couple of guys married, but this time they weren't with me. So I'm driving. Me, myself, and I, driving down the road. And I'm just kind of looking around because it was just so picturesque and beautiful. And the sun wasn't quite setting yet. It was about 4 o'clock, but you could tell that the sun was on its descent. Now, this was May. And so I see off in the distance, faded, like way in the distance, faded cemetery. And I thought, oh boy, I don't have to be home for anything. Why don't I just go and poke around? Now, I always carry a notebook with me. I always carry a pen. I always carry a notebook. And being the Italian, Irish, German mama that I am, I always, and I don't have the one that I want anymore, but I always carry or always wear that safety pin. And it's one of those things. If you are Italian, German, or Irish, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The safety pin that you don't display on your clothes, you wear it on the inside of your clothes. And you've got some protection with that and all that. I made sure I had an iron one, because iron is something that I've always known is a protective element. So, pardon me. I don't know what it is when I talk. My voice sounds wonderful, but then I get on here and it's like, hello. Thank you. So I pull up, I turn around, I find this wee little opening to the narrow, wee little opening to this cemetery. And I'm going down this. Now, if the Zelda now could look back at the Zelda then, I would go, girl, anybody, anything could be back there. And at 4:00 in the afternoon by yourself. But no. So I find this cemetery. Now I'm walking around because you can see, I mean, the graves were just sprinkled all over. And let me see if I can show you. You see, there's a little bit of a pathway through here. I think that's the best way I can describe it. A little pathway through. The trees looked barren. It looked like it had been lost in time. It was obviously some Civil War people there, and in the way back was Revolutionary War. This was an old cemetery. It didn't look like it had been around, and, it was forgotten. Let me say that. If you didn't have any business to be there, it was forgotten. So I get out of my car. And I take the keys with me because you always know you take the keys, you don't leave them in your car. I always lock the car doors except for the driver's door because you just don't know. And if you have to get in there, you can go, I've just got this weirdness. So I get out of the car and I'm looking around, and I'm going to tell you something. Pardon me. I'm going to tell you something. These stones were fascinating. I have never seen epitaphs on these stones like I've seen before. So, drawing, making notes, la da 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 da. And before you know it, because when there's a treed area, it always looks darker than what it is. So before you know it, it's starting to get dark. I didn't have a flashlight. There were no cell phones back then. I mean, after all, I think they just invented the wheel, right? Hello? So no flashlights, I had nothing. And I looked up because I just kept walking, not paying attention, not looking up, not paying attention to my surroundings. And all the gravestones start looking alike. And it all starts kind of sort of looking a little misty. Even at 5:00 in the afternoon. So I start getting a little panicky because I'm thinking, oh, heck. Because this place was big, but it was sprinkled through a wooded area. So no matter where I went, there were gravestones and these trees, and I could not find my car. Pardon me. So like little Gretel, I start marking the best I could with either stones or flowers or something that I could find my way and know if I was doubling back or if I had made a mistake and going the wrong way. And all of a sudden, I see this light. And I didn't know it was lit before. So I followed the light. And the one thing about it, when it gets dark, you could have a light that is like, look, almost as big as this, even a candle. And if you are in the dark, your eyes are going to focus and you're going to be able to see that. It's going to illuminate. So all of a sudden, I walk up and I see this, a candle on this grave. And I'm not scared. So I wanted to walk up here and see what this is all about. I get close and I see that the stone is cracked and there's some like vines growing on it. And there's nothing on the tombstone, not one word, nothing. And it is about this far from this mausoleum with a candle in it also. So someone had to be there. So I thought. So I get up to this area and I noticed there was nothing here. And I hear walking behind me. And I got a little story about that too, I'm going to tell you. So I hear walking behind me. And I'm thinking, oh, so this person, maybe they can help me. Duh. Maybe they can help me. I turned around and nothing is there. So the first thing I'm thinking of is, oh, heck, it's a wild animal. Because they do have them in Virginia. And so I thought, I better be careful. So I'm seeing these kind of like limbs that are on the ground. So I get one, put my foot on it, break it. The end is sharp. So I'm just kind of walking around with my little staff and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, right. I'm going to fight somebody off with this broken limb. That's the way to go, Zelda. So I started walking up this way toward this tree. And I turned around and looked this way. And there was a black mass standing there, just standing there, all in black. Now, there are different type of hauntings. There are poltergeists, there's orbs, there's elementals, and then there's a black mass. We don't know where black masses come from. Nobody's really been able to study. How do you study that? You don't know. They just show up. And this was the second time that I saw one of these. The first time was in a building with my buddies that I had previously mentioned. We were in a building and there's a black mass that shows up. So I'm just standing there. And it's rolling through my mind. And I'm touching my safety pin because I made sure that that's iron. And I'm trying to keep my breathing even because in these situations, this type of frequency it can tell when things are off, and you just don't want to get into that position where the anxiety takes over, because believe me, my darlings, if you start breathing under anxiety, like the more you do that, the more it's going to cause the anxiety. So you've got to just, and I felt myself kind of going, oh, heck, where's my car? I can't, because if you can see here, how do you run? I mean, you can't run. And this is before the zombie in Tennessee. So, but you can't run in this type of thing because you see the small stones here. All you need to do is catch your foot, ankle, leg, knee on some, and you're wiping out right there. And what if you get hurt? What if you get knocked out? So I'm thinking, forget about what's on here. And I dropped my journal. And the moment that I dropped my journal, that black mass moved. And I thought, okay. So I'm trying to get back, and I'm getting closer to this mausoleum, trying to walk back. And there comes that black mass again. Now that black mass stood right here, right in between this grave and right in between this mausoleum. And I thought, you know something? If I can make it to that mausoleum, I'm safe. I don't know if you know this or not, my darlings, but the old-fashioned mausoleums have iron gates on them. And this was old enough. I knew it had to be at least Civil War. This was old enough that I knew it had an iron gate. And I thought, there's a candle on the inside. That has to be open. I'm going to take my chance. So, yeah, nobody said, ma'am, run. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. It should have. My brain should have been, Zelda, you bad girl, you know the rules. You just go out and do your own thing. So I come up to this. Easy, not quickly, easy. I made it right here on the steps. This black mass moves, and is standing right behind this grave. So I knew it was connected in some way. Just as I was standing here on this step, I hear a whisper. Here. And I thought, now is not the time to have to wipe out the back of my pants. I was scared. I'm just going to tell you, I was scared. So I thought, that's got to be coming from the mausoleum. I get up there and I put my hand on the gate. And just as I did, I felt this entire energy. I opened up the gate. I walked in that mausoleum, and the flame on that candle started going really, really high. I thought, oh, well, there's some energy here. So I walked in there and walked to the back. There was a ledge at the back of this museum and mausoleum. There was a ledge. So I went back to the back of that, and I knew that whatever it was that was out here could not cross that iron gate. So I went into that mausoleum and I sat on that bench, and it just kept getting darker and darker and darker. And I kept looking out here, and that black mass was not going away. It was like he was waiting. And that candle right there at the bottom of that cemetery was still lit. Now, there was a part of me that thought, well, if I start yelling for help, and then I thought, to whom? That doesn't make any sense. Calm down. I sat in there, and then you start hearing the night noises, the little crackling of maybe animals walking through, the little chirping of crickets, the little tree noises, the breaking of limbs, and your imagination can just go crazy. What I did not want to do is show any type of upset or fear, because that fuels this stuff. Because remember, anything like this, including our EVPs that we do, feeds off of energy, pure energy. Now, if you hear laughing, my son is in a tournament, and I'm going to tell you, I have not heard laughing like that, like I've had today in such a long time. I was laughing because I heard them laughing, and I could hear them, and I had his stream going on my computer as I was working and doing some other things. And so I'm glad to hear laughter today. So just so you know, I don't have ghosts in the background laughing. So anyway, so I'm sitting in the back of this mausoleum. And I thought, somebody's in here. You know, it started coming to my senses. Somebody's in here. What's happening? So I'm looking around, and this mausoleum was built for a woman, one woman, and her body was in there. I couldn't make out her name. All I know, it was something like Annie, Anna, Anne. And the first thing I said was, wow, that's my great-grandmother's name. And it was like I felt this calm. I felt this calm. Hi, Stephanie. I know exactly where you are, my darling. I felt this calm come over me. And I thought, somebody's protecting her from this black mass. Somebody is protecting her. That's why there's the iron gate. That's why there's the building. That's where the mausoleum. So I sat down at the back of this, and I just basically said, okay, I'll make you a deal. This is pretty uncomfortable. Obviously, you've been here for a little while, and I promise that I'm not going to hurt anything, take anything. I'll take care of you if you take care of me. All the while, I'm seeing the flame in this candle jumpity jump, the flame in this candle jumpity jump. So I'm sitting in there. Now listen, this is inevitable. At some time, you're going to have to use the restroom. At some time, you're getting thirsty, you're getting hungry, you're getting tired. And it's certainly not, I mean, you're in a mausoleum in the out and open with here, and there's not really anywhere to drop trowel and say, okay, here I am, I'm just going to do it. So you kind of just wait. You just kind of wait. So I'm thinking there's more to this story than meets the eye. So I tucked back in this corner right here, sat there, and just kind of psyched myself out. Because I know the gate was to keep this black mass who was prancing around. It was to keep it out. And I'm thinking, here I am caught in the middle of this. Isn't this great? Pardon me. So something comes over me. And I start singing these old hymns really low, like old hymns. And it was like the place was quiet. It was like just quiet. And then I would stop and I would listen. Well, finally it got to the point where I was so tired. I thought, nothing's going to get me. I'm safe. I'm going to stay here. I got to. I did not want to take a chance with it being Pitch black dark at this point. No flashlight. No, nothing. Just because. So the next thing you know, I'm waking up. I fell asleep. And I'm waking up, and it was the wee hours of the morning. It had to be, because I didn't have a watch with me or anything else. I knew, because you could tell when the morning is start to coming up. The light starts to beam. You can tell it, and my eyes were really acclimating. All of a sudden, I hear this walking. And I'm thinking, oh my God, somebody's coming. What's going on? And I see someone coming over. Now, it had to be like 5:30 in the morning, or you could see a little bit of movement. There was a person comes over and takes and blows that candle out. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh heck, they're going to come in here. So I thought, well, I don't want to scare that person. Can you imagine hearing hello come from a mausoleum? Hello? No. So I finally said, I was knocking on the side of the mausoleum, and I saw him turn around, and I said, hello, I'm kind of stuck in here. And he came over and he said, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Have you been here all night? And I said, yes, of my own demise. And he said, well, I need to put this candle out. Do you want to come on out? And I said, I do, but sir, I need to find my car. And he said, well, I saw a car. Do you have a brown Volvo? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, it's back over. And he pointed to me and, whatever, and gave me a good way to get there. And I said, thank you so. And he said, I just have to ask, how did you end up here? And I said, well, I have to ask, why are these candles here? What's going on? So I told him my story, dropped my husband, who was a lieutenant commander at the time, and I said I was driving home. He was going to the ship, said goodbye. I came a different way, and I stopped in, I landed. That was it. And he said, wow, lady. And I said, yeah. Well, I explained where I worked. And of course, he had an idea, like a lot of people do, your favorite grifting psychic. So, he was not so helpful. And I said, well, you know what? That's okay. I said, I'm just here and I wasn't doing anything. And he said, well, I don't have to call the police to. I said, for what? I was stuck here all night because there's this black mass. The moment that I said black mass, the color drained out of his face. He was like a sheet standing there. Now, he was not old, but he was, middle age. And he looked at me and he goes, oh my God. I said, yeah, that's why I was in the mausoleum. Because those gates are iron and nothing's going to come to me. And I said, before I go, can you tell me what this is? And he looked at me and he goes, well, if you want to wait on me, here goes, I don't know what it is. I look like I'm some dame that will stop and get a cup of coffee and a piece of pie. What do you think about that? Sorry, you just saw my earpiece. And so he said, well, if you can wait for me a minute. He said, I'll walk you to your car. I'll come get you and let's go have a cup of coffee. I said, that would be great because I need to use the ladies' room. He said, that's fine. We'll go on down there and whatever. I knew as soon as we as soon as we drove out of there, I knew exactly where I was. It was just that I got so turned around from not paying attention. Lesson number 1. So we pull up into this public place. Now, my darlings, I'm just going to tell you something. I wouldn't do that now. And you wouldn't catch me out into a cemetery. And this is why my son always warns me and says, Mom, you're not going to a cemetery. Not by yourself. You're not going. Well, they're not going to hurt me. No, but you don't know what is there that might. And he's very right. Because this time it scared me, and I'm fearless when it comes to this stuff. But this scared me because I was trapped. I don't use crystals. I don't use any of that for me. I don't do the crystal thing because with a black mass, a crystal is not going to protect you. All of that sort of thing is just not going to. You can maybe throw it at them, but it still is not going to work. I use prayer and iron, and that does it. Prayer and iron. So we sit down in this nice little cafe type thing. I don't mean to be a smarty pants, but for me, it just is, I walk in and he walks in behind me and I said, cup of coffee, endless cup, eggs, toast. I'm buying. And I went to the ladies' room and came back. I sat down and they brought our food. I was famished. And I'm going to tell you something. I sat there and I said, you can talk to me. I'm eating. I don't want to be rude. I've been in there since 4:00 yesterday afternoon. And so I just need to collect myself. I want some coffee, eggs, and toast, and then I'm going to go home and go to bed. And he said, okay. So here is the story. Are you ready, my darlings? Back in the day, there was a young lady who was very wealthy. Miss Annie, I think. He wouldn't tell me her name because I would be the first one running down to the genealogy society and trying to look her up because, back then we didn't have any internet, no anything like that. So I lived at the genealogical society. So he said she was the daughter of one of these land wealthy individuals during the Civil War. Now, I love Virginia, and I love the accent in Virginia because it's just subtle and easy. So, there evidently, she fell in love with a soldier that came through. Going through the area, whatever. He was from the South. It turns out that he had another woman that he was betrothed to, engaged with. But this young man didn't tell this young lady all of this. She fell in love and wanted to get married, and he wanted to marry her. But then it came out that he had somebody else dangling on a string somewhere else in Virginia, like upwards to Richmond. So Evidently, things got a little tough. The other, and believe me, nothing has changed. It doesn't matter how, when, where, what it is. It just does not matter anything. Because when somebody's feeling like they're cheated on or whatever, they take revenge. Now, this other lady up near Richmond, her family was very political. They had connections and they had money. It was this is old money, land rich, really. But the other lady was proper. And she just had an absolute hissy fit. So what does she do? She evidently hired a witch. No kidding. A witch. To go down to this area. This was just south of Williamsburg. Well, not just south, but south of Williamsburg. So she hires a witch to go down there and do her bidding for her. That's right. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Enter the witch. Now, this witch, story has it, came up from New Orleans. And the woman from Richmond, her father summoned whomever to go get this woman and to bring her there to take care of Miss Annie. So, amazingly enough, it came time for all of this to go down and for all of this to happen. And evidently, she was just this beautiful blonde, the epitome of the South, beautiful blonde, gone with the wind, Melanie type, gorgeous. And evidently, the political woman was completely the opposite. And her father made arrangements for her to be married to this young man. So this witch goes down to this area, befriends Annie and her family, and be careful, that's what they do. And I'll give you a little hint. Sometimes these people that work in dark arts will befriend others until they feel that the time is right. And then they will come out. We may know one. So, she comes down to this area. And evidently, this young lady starts getting ill. And it was bad. It was horribly illness that was horrible. That she lost a lot of weight. Her hair was falling out. She was going into skin and bones. Now, I want you to know this. Any type of practitioner like that is an evil. I know many people who, say they are witches. I don't like that name, just like I don't like psychics. And quite frankly, I'll just tell you this. I've met some witches, practitioners, that are more kind than the Christians that I've met. Anyway, we're not going to even go there. So this was a witchery, right? This was a Christian family, and this witch stepped in. This poor young lady was bedridden within about 10 days. Hair falling out, teeth falling out. And at this point, they knew that there was something wrong because the doctor had visited her many, many times and said, there's nothing wrong with her. Why this is happening? So, this young man hears by the grapevine because he was an officer. He happened to be down right around Annie, and he told Annie, he said, look, I'm not going anywhere. You die, I die. And he said, I will be with you forever. You don't need to worry about it. I'm not going back to that. Well, guess what? You don't want to make a witch mad. And that made her mad. And it made we're going to call her Penelope. Penelope the political. Miss Political Penelope, it made her mad. And she basically said, unleash everything that you have, not on her, on the family. I want them ruined. I want this young man ruined. She was like giving the witch the orders. Well, the witch listened. And before you know it, Miss Annie had passed away in her sleep. This young man was so distraught that he got out on his horse. I need to write a book. These are so great. He got out on his horse, took off on the horse. The horse stumbled. He dropped off the horse, broke his neck, and was gone. The next thing you know, it didn't stop there. The mother was making, this is the story goes, the mother was making, what do they call that? Apple butter. She was making apple butter. And as you know, what do you do when you do that? You chop on this, you eat this, you take a little bit of this. Oh my. Oh my. She choked on an apple and she died. The next thing you know, she had two other brothers. They had accidents and they were gone, and the old man was left. He built the mausoleum for his daughter. He knew at this point, what had happened because the young man, before he went off and fell off his horse, told him they hired this witch. And this is what's happening to the family and to me and to everyone around. And so he knew that there was a good witch. I don't know how they all knew this, but hello. He went to her and said, I feel like I have to protect my daughter beyond the grave. What can we do? And he said, or she said rather, to the father, you build a mausoleum, you put an iron gate, you keep a candle burning in the mausoleum, and where the young man was buried, which was right here, facing the mausoleum, you keep a candle at the base of his stone. You do not write his name. You do not write anything on his stone. And that's what he did. He took it upon himself to bury this young man, contacted the family. Hi, MJ, look at this. I'm loving it. And so he said, and I said, well, okay, that doesn't make sense. But what about the black mass? And he said the black mass showed up after Papa passed away. Yes, my darling, this is shade 117. Thank you. It was Mary Jennings in the chat that suggested this. But if you're going to wear red lipstick, you got to use purple toothpaste first. Okay. Back to the story. So, okay, hold on. It is the golden rose. This stuff is so yummy. Look at this applicator. Is that, hello? Shade 117. We will have a makeup tutorial. Okay. So after all of this deep down muckmire mayhem happened with this poor family in Virginia, this witch, because after all was said and done, political Penelope, evidently, she was so stuck up, was not happy, and was mad at the witch. There was a huge big thing over that, and the ultimate ending of that is that there was a black mass that was conjured. And evidently, the moment that the candles go out, story tells that the black mass will step in and will take Annie and this young man. Now, is that possibility? No, it's not. But when you're the parents and the father, and all this is going down, and you don't have somebody that basically stands there and says, ma'am, run, you're going to listen. So for 200 and some years, the family of this family have been going here and putting the candles. And I asked this man I was having coffee, eggs, and toast with, no peach pie, unfortunately, what happens? What happens if you miss? What happens if that goes out? What if it rains? What happens? He said, if it rains, they have a certain big glass jar, like a big pickle jar, something like that they've made so that air can get into it, and they cover the candle with the glass jar so the rain doesn't put it out. Sounds plausible to me. There was not rain going to get to this here. And so evidently that's what it's all about. And he looked at me and goes, and you saw the black mass. I said, oh, yes, sir. And I said, and my notebook is still back there. He said, should I go and get it for you? And I said, yes, sir. I said, and if you want to, I will meet you back here later on this afternoon. I'm going to go home, freshen up, get some rest, say a prayer, figure out what this all means, and then I will pick up my notebook. Okay. So I'm driving home and I'm thinking, this is either the craziest story or the best story I've ever heard. I get home. I call my grandmother. She was still alive then. I get my mom because we didn't have cell phones. So I had to, calling from Virginia to Tennessee, I had to call my mother and grandmother on a conference call. You know how you used to do the conference calls? Hold on a minute, click, click, and you could patch somebody in. Oh, those were the days. The young ones don't even know the struggle, right? Hello. So I get home. I'm calling mom and grandma. And mom, listen, my mom and grandma were the absolute best, other than being Hollywood wannabes. The Grace Kelly and Claudette Colbert. That's another story for another time. They were like, oh. These two gals sat with me and I said, you all have to see the original Terminator. These two gals sat with me and watched the original Terminator. They had popcorn. They had candy. They made snacks. They had pop. They had this. And they were just sitting there, as my grandmother would say, mowing it in. Don't know what mow. I don't even know how to spell mow. But that's what we were all doing. That's what these ladies were. They were just, of course, my family's got stories of our own. And I got to tell you a historical story. And I do want you to stay tuned over the next couple of days because I'm going to record that and put that together for you. And oh my, you all are going to like that. And it is a spooky story that stems from my family in Görlitz that's handed down through the centuries and came across from Europe into the United States. And it is a good one. So we've got stories. So they were sitting there. And of course, you know what they said? I got to tell you this. You know what they said? My grandmother says, listen, I don't know. She talked. She had kind of a little, I don't know about you, Zell, but I wouldn't mind seeing this. And she says, Carol, that was my mother's name. What do you say we go on a little trip? And I said, listen, if you girls can be ready by tomorrow, I will make that trip. I will come to Tennessee and pick you up, and I will take you there. So at 4:30 in the afternoon, I meet Mr. Guardian of the Candles. We'll call him that. I meet Mr. Guardian of the Candles. He has my notebook, and he's got the funniest look on his face. And he hands it to me. He goes, here, miss. I said, yeah. And I look in it. My notes were in it. Everything was fine. I said, I dropped it out in the middle. He goes, you didn't drop it out in the middle of anything. I said, where was it? He said, it was in the mausoleum. No way was it in that mausoleum, because I dropped that when I saw that big black mass, and I thought, do I cut and run, or do I stand here and pretend that I'm a tree? I just dropped the notebook. And I told him where I dropped the notebook, and it would have been back here. You see this one with the cross? I remember that one with the cross that was by this tree. It was back over in there and there. He said, oh no, ma'am, it was in the mausoleum. I said, oh, that was Annie. He goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, I made a deal with her. And he looked at me like, and I said, listen, my darling, you can't say anything about me. Who's showing up nightly to light the candles? I think you and I are in the same position, pal. And he's laughing at this point because he knows how silly this sounds. And I said, I made a deal with her. She takes care of me, and I take care of her. And he said, well, isn't that something? I said, yes, it is. So I am asking more about this black mass. And he said, the only thing that we know is that is the spirit of the witch trying to get into Annie. And this is why. Because anybody who ever is a practitioner of these dark things, and somebody up in Massachusetts, if you're listening right now, you know, if you know, you know. Don't bother doing that. But when you practice dark things and you cause such harm to someone that this was caused to, now, did I get to verify this? No, I didn't. I just didn't. And I wish I would have, but I just didn't. If you know, you know. We can call her Penelope, Penelope. Political Penelope. Why do I want to do that? I guess it's to prove that she was a snob. No, not the good ones here. Not the good ones in Massachusetts. Those ones who want to desiccate the truth. All right, so anyway. And so he said, evidently it's this. So here's the rest of the story, my darlings. Well, part 2 of the story. So evidently, because you know you can't cast like that without coming back on you. And that person who hired that witch and the family was equally responsible, an accessory to the crime, probably if not equal to, but more so, for wanting to hurt. Because in the reality of it is, in 50 years, it didn't matter anyway. And that's the way you have to think. Doing that sort of thing now, and 50 years, it doesn't matter. Hello. So evidently, this witch, don't know what happened, but on her way back from Richmond, after she received her payment for services rendered, had a horrible accident and burned by fire. Good. Bye. She self-cremated. They said it was just the biggest fluke. Well, in this type of realm, there are no flukes. She died horrifically in a fire, going back to New Orleans, story says. Now, political Penelope from Richmond, Virginia, was unalived because she was robbed. Somebody unalived her. Someone pew-pewed her father at some type of political convention. So everything came right back onto them. Boom. And evidently that black mass, now you can't prove it. Nobody knows, but that's legend. But hey, I'm here. It's this time of year. I'm believing it. I saw it. Evidently, this black mass is this, not the spirit, but the energy of this witchy type. Ooh, witchy woman. Sorry. This witchy type, because evidently when the candles go out, she's going to go in and desecrate poor Annie. I mean, after what more? The poor woman is gone. What more can you do? But evidently that ain't good enough. You got to wait. So to this day, is this burning? I don't know. Do you remember me telling you that I work with a gentleman who has a corporation in Virginia, and he is close to Richmond, and there's a lot of things going on at that particular time? And I asked him today when I spoke to him, I said, listen, if I gave you the coordinates, would you go visit this cemetery? And he said, you know what, Zelda? I'm sorry, but I don't think so. And I said, well, let me ask it to you this way. If I come over there, would you go with me? And he said, you know what, Zelda? I don't think so, because I don't want to be hanging around and get stuck in a mausoleum. Fair enough. So I don't know if it's still there. Maybe someday I'll find out. I don't want to send anybody over there. So now comes the next day. So I look in my journal. It's all intact. Everything is fine. I get home. I call Grandma and Mom and I said, look here. I'm going to be on the road in the morning. I'll have Skippy, which happened to be my little 3-legged dog. And he wasn't Skip. I named him Skippy before he lost his leg. Let's hope it wasn't prophetic. Anyway, that's another story. So, my darlings, I hopped in my car the next day. Got Skippy. Said, come on, brother, we're going. Filled up, got my check. And the reason I did say that, because quite frankly, I'm just going to say this. When I was working for the Psychic Friends Network, I made almost as much as my lieutenant commander husband on that psychic line. So, but see, here's the gig. Back then I had to wait for the mail to run for my check to come. Don't you love those days? Do you miss those days? Now it's like, oh, well, wake up. Oh, went into my Venmo. There's PayPal. There's Cash App. There's Zelle. Boy, we are puppies, aren't we? We are just literally puppies. But those were the days. So I waited for my check. And boy, I was sitting by the porch. Seriously, I was sitting, I was packed. Skippy was ready to go. I had everything buttoned down, everything ready. And Lord God Almighty, I was ready to hit the road. The mailman comes up and he looks at me, and he always gave me a hard time because I was always lurking, because I had the mailbox right there by the front door. I was always lurking, and I would go right out when I saw him come up, and he'd hand me the like this, and then he'd jerk it back like this, yanking me, see, yanking my chain. I'd say, "Oh, you don't even know who I am." And he would laugh like crazy. He was wonderful, wonderful mail person. I got my check, got my dog, got an overnight bag because I knew I was going to have to spend the night. Took my goodies with me, a deck of cards, made sure I had my lipstick and a few other things because back then I looked a little better and all I needed was lipstick. Had my hair up, boof, done. It was the 80s. Hello. Hair was, and had earrings, done. Hit the road, mama. So I get on the road to Tennessee and I'm thinking, wow. And then I start thinking, do I really want to take my grandmother and my mother here? Do I really want to? I know they want to go. These two are like frickin' frack, buddy. They would, if I say let's go, they would say how far? So we get to Tennessee and I said, look, you guys are going to come back, but I am just not so sure that I want to take you to this place. It may be dangerous. And look, hello, you all can't run. And oh no, they weren't not going to hear of it. They had planned. In fact, my grandmother packed a little picnic because that was a thing that you used to do. Back in my day, growing up, you go to the cemetery, you sit down, and you have a picnic. I'm like, okay. Oh, okay, Grandma. But see, my grandmother was really in tune and she was really psychic. Now, my mom was like this. My mom was kind of like this new soul that had just been placed in a meat suit that was kind of like, oh, the life is wonderful. Let's trust everybody. And my grandmother was like that, let's carry something in her pocketbook, which I did not let her do. Coming across the state line, you don't do that sort of thing, but oh, she was a pistol. Yeah, no pun intended. So we're on our way, and I'm telling you, nobody could get a word in edgewise. Grandma, mom, me, talk, stories and all this other stuff. Now, they had never seen my house. This was the house that I bought from the great-granddaughter of President Monroe. And her husband, she was in her 90s when I bought it. And her husband was the man who built this house over 100 years. Or no, it was quite almost 100 years old. And it was gorgeous. And I really lean into that historical stuff. We were in Virginia. I lived near Fort Monroe. It was gorgeous. I painted my living room this beautiful, buttery kind of a, I had white, what's it called? White woodwork. And the walls were this color in the living room. The kitchen was a deep red with white, and the dining room was billiard green with white trim. And I'm telling you, that place was a show place. Hardwood floors. I hated leaving it, but I did. My grandmother and mom walked in, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. They loved it. And while we were there, I took them up to Williamsburg, took them to all these different places, very historical, blah, blah. I had a painting of Washington in my dining room that had this, he had all the colors in my house in this painting. So he had this beautiful turquoise coat or this sash on with the beigey vest, and I mean it was just gorgeous. So we get ready. And I said, we're going to go out there early enough. So it was the next day. We go out there. Lo and behold, it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Grandma's got her little picnic. She had kept it cold, put it in the refrigerator. She was bound to determine we were going to have that picnic. And I said, you know what? If we go have a picnic, we're going to go have it right on the stairs of that mausoleum. Because if anything happens, we can just jump over. Hello. We go. We had this lovely picnic. The candles weren't lit yet because it wasn't evening. And so it was peaceful, gorgeous, lovely. And I told him, I said, look, I'm not going to hold you guys on a leash, but we're all going to know we're not going to get lost in here. And I was marking the trail. They had the best time because, like I said, I have never seen epitaphs on stones, headstones, that were this eloquent in some ways, because they were just so eloquent. And it was just amazing. We went through, I think we spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours there, we left, and that was it. Never went back. Had a great time, took them through Fort Monroe, took them through all these different places, went out to eat, went out to do all these things, and it was a grand time. But I've always wondered, and this is this time of year. Now, that was in May. Of course, not any time near now. That would have been something, wouldn't it? But I lived in the same house that I had the call from. I swear it was Jacques St. James, the vampire, on Psychic Friends Network, and lived there. And then I decided to leave my marriage, and I left and went to Tennessee. Then I went to Ohio, and then I went to Florida, and I just started traveling around because Psychic Friends Network unfortunately went bankrupt. And I woke up one morning without a job. And I was very upset and thought, you know what? What am I going to do? You know what? I'll do it on my own. So I started traveling the circuit, started going, because back then you had psychic fairs. You wanted to go meet a psychic, you went to the psychic fairs, and you went to this, and, blah, blah, blah. Pardon me, just a second. But I will never forget this one, because this was another amazing story. I don't know what it is. The cemetery stories are always my favorite. I don't know why. But there's going to be time when I'm back at it again, and I'm going to take you guys with me, and we're going to do everything together. So that, my darlings, is that. So now, if you want to take a little break, oh my goodness, and you know what I forgot to do? Why do I always do this? Listen, here we go. This is what I need to be doing. Not Zelda. I was too excited about coming in tonight and talking with you. So now, if you want to take a little break, go visit the water closet, go get a drink of water, go get a few little crubblies to eat. I'm having some beef stew tonight. Probably going to make a little bit of cornbread after everything is said and done. I don't know. Might even order a hamburger. I don't know. We'll see. But go get some coffee. Go take a break. Go move around. Go do your things. And I'm going to read some of your um, little chats here. Jersey Sue, look at you, my darling. Big smile. Thank you so much. Love that you are so generous. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Kat Randall, new member, always sending me beautiful sunsets on the Twix. And it's so appreciated. Thank you so much. Debbie W is a new member. Welcome to you. And Renee, look at you, beautiful. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you. Thank you. And someone sent me, let's see, Debbie Frank. Let me see. These little tokens mean so much to me. And it's not that it's the monetary part, but it's the fact that you all take the time to send it to me. And I appreciate it so much. Oh, let's see. Let's see. There's a little gift. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. Thank you. It says surprise. Thank you for your generosity, and it is for coffee money. I'll take it. Thank you so much. It's so cute. I love it. Thank you. That's very kind. So she didn't forget her gift. Her grifting psychic got to do it that way. Now, a meatloaf sandwich. I'm going to tell you something. In my book, there's nothing better than a meatloaf sandwich. But I gotta have a cold meatloaf sandwich, and I have to have mayonnaise and ketchup. There we go. Mary, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Thank you, my darling. Love it. Not a ham sandwich. I don't want to give anybody PTSD, but remember this guy? Remember this guy? Hank's Ham Sammy's? Well, I don't know if you've heard this or not. He happens to be representing someone that has been accused of a crime against a young person. I'll leave it at that. Does it surprise you? No. Maybe he should think about collaborating with someone else. Maybe he should do that. Oh, look. And Mary's back with another membership as well. Thank you. Probably on both channels. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, he's going to be cooperating. Now, things have been quiet. Yeah, right? Things have been quiet with the Karen Reed case. Thank you, Mary. I figured that one out. And I think we're just kind of getting ready to. October's not open yet. Or open, or no, it's not over. I think there's going to be an October surprise. Some things happening. Some things are happening. In my book. There's going to be more coming out on the Charlie Kirk. I've got some more things coming that is just going to blow your mind. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story because my son is always giving Zelda the reality checks, right? You know, I don't know what it is in life. Just a second, I got to take this earpiece off because he wants to buzz a little bit. There we go. So my son always has to give me a little reality check here and there, okay? So you know this past Tuesday night on the 14th, which was Charlie Kirk's birthday, may he rest well. He's not happy. His energy is not happy. After we got done with our EVP session, and funny enough, once again, I did say, I looked back and I said, well, it's Saturday. October 14th. And it's because that's why, hello, all of you here know that I'm so used to Saturday night. It kind of messed me up a little bit because it was Tuesday and I'm thinking, oh, okay. Oh boy, everybody ate, not everybody, but a lot of people ate my lunch. Zelda. Okay. So now, my darlings, we were done. I was putting things away, putting my ring light down, putting down my little green screen back here, my little green screen, doing all the little housekeeping things that you got to do after you stream, folding up things, putting it all away, tra-la. Just a minute, Aunt BB. I'm going to address that in a second. I saw that. Now here's the thing. I walked from the kitchen because I'm all, the moment that I get off here, I'm typing my son, what do you feel like eating? Do you want to order it? Do you want to DoorDash it? Do you want me to fix something? I thought he came out of his room because my son is very light. He's light-footed. I call him light-foot. Light-foot. He's very light-footed because he'll walk into a kitchen when I have my back turned, like in the refrigerator or something, and go, and I don't hear him, and he'll say, hey, Mom, and it's like, Wah! I look like I'm on one of the talkie tick things. This is Shooby-Doo. No, this is Shaggy Noodle. This is Shaggy Noodles. And Sam came up here at the same time, and she's upset. Hold on. She's stomping. You better get down. You'll get beat up. Come here, Sammy. Oh, well, all right. They both leave me. So I'm walking through here, and I thought he came out of his room. Sambo, come here.
Come on, sissy. Somebody get.
So, come on. She gets mad, and she has learned how to stomp. You've not lived until you have a cat with an attitude. Oh, hello. Until you have a cat with an attitude. When they stomp, hello there, my darling. Hello. Thank you very much. I come up to the mud table. And I said, do you want, Stompy Sass is right. Sam Miami, this is it. This is her. And I'm talking. What are you hungry for? Is there anything in particular you want? Do you want me to make something, whatever? And I turn around and no one is there. And the reason I started talking is because I felt someone walk up behind me. I thought it was my son. You know that energy. When somebody comes in a room, you feel that frequency. Doesn't matter if you're psychic or not. It's because we all have this little vibration frequency thing that happens, right? It felt like an energy just came right up on me, right in the back. So I'm standing there for a second, and then he comes out, and he goes into the bathroom. He comes out and goes, what's wrong? And I said, did you just come out and was behind me? And he said, no, I've been in my room. You saw me come out and go into the bathroom. Okay. He said, why? What's wrong? I said, I felt this energy came right up behind me. And my son, being the little sarcastic offspring from Zelda Kelly, says, what do you expect when you're sitting here doing EVPs every other day and you're talking about your paranormal and you're making plans and you're doing that? What exactly do you expect, Mom? Nothing. What would you like to eat? And that was it. But do I believe that was some Charlie energy? Yes. We're going to do that again. Now, we're getting closer to Halloween. This Saturday night, we're going to do something. Would you like to have another trivia night? What would you like to do? I have a little plan, but I want to do what y'all want to do. Y'all want to do. I'm going to save the stories for Thursday nights, okay? But Saturday night, we'll have definitely a show, but it will definitely be Halloween based. Okay? So think about that. Let's get ready for a giveaway. I hope you like tonight's story. I think it's a lot of fun. I have so many stories, my darlings. I have so many stories. We'd be here for another 15 years. Hammer film horror trivia. Oh, that's something. You want a trivia game? You want to do a trivia game? Okay, well then let's do. Hi there, Chase Creative Creations. Thank you. I love having you here. You know, sometimes we feel the pressure of, and especially a lot of people here are in the crime community. And sometimes we feel sometimes we just feel that pressure of a lot of stuff going on. Upsets, you know, people infighting, people out fighting, people doing this, people doing that, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? We got to have a little fun. And I'm going to tell you, I just sort of kind of happen to trust the paranormal more than I do this other stuff. And people can give me a hard time and tell me, oh, I'm going to the hot place. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not conjuring. I'm not whipping up a soul here and there. I'm actually a scientist. Seriously. I love the research of it because obviously it exists or we wouldn't be experiencing it. To say that it's wrong is ignoring it in my book. I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to lead anybody down a wrong path. That's just the way it is. But sometimes I just trust this. Spiritual awakener. Zelda, do you think our kiddos should not participate in Halloween? I think they should participate in Halloween, absolutely. And here's the reason, and the reason why. Because I've known families in the past that have been so, oh, it's the devil, oh, it's this, oh, it's that unfortunately their children suffer. And it's not that they suffer not getting candy, but they suffer at the hands of society. And you have to look at it this way. Does one night of trick-or-treating and dressing up and knowing, and see, I believe if you teach your children, what is that proverb? Bring up your children the way they should go, and they will do that the rest of their lives. I've known people that are so Christian that they won't let their kids have presents or they won't let them have a Christmas tree, and it weighs on them. I say live. As long as you know, as long as you teach them, the right and the wrong, so what? Let them blow off a little steam, dress like a cat, dress like a gypsy. I always had to dress, dress whatever, have fun, put some makeup on, take them out, get candy, know that they're safe, bring home, watch some funny movies, and make a memory. That's my idea. I used to have a friend that was so ate up, that was so ate up with the religion thing that she brought her friends one time. I used to own a store in Gatlinburg, Tennessee on Ski Mountain Road. She brought her friends at my workplace when I was busy and said, "Oh, well, we came to pray for you." Really? Why? I didn't ask you to. Well, we just came, as though they knew something more than me. And it insulted me. And I said, "Why would you want to do that? Do you, well, there you've got, stop. Drawing the line here." She was the same one who would not let her children watch the Smurfs because she said that it was evil. So, there comes a time when you can just go overboard with both sides of the coin. And I say, be real, know who our maker is, act accordingly, enjoy Christmas, even though Christ wasn't born on Christmas Day. Oh, that's another one. I'll teach that one of these days. And they'll respect you for it, because then when your kids grow up and they're going to look at you and they're going to say, "Oh, Mom, that was the coolest thing. Dad, that was the coolest thing." You're not teaching them to conjure. As long as you're not teaching them to conjure and you're not teaching them to open a portal and you're not, doing all these things that we're not supposed to be doing, that people do, and that paranormal investigators will do because they don't know, and they'll go out and they'll open portals and then they leave them open. And the sad part is that anything can come through the portal. Anything. And it's very easy. It can be as easy as putting two mirrors together. And no, you don't want to do that because it creates a vortex. No. I wish I wouldn't even said it now. The Edgar Cayce Society, he was not alive when I was there, but his son took it over. And his son has some completely different ideas than what Edgar Cayce did. As far as I know, it's still going. But I learned a lot. That's where I was headed toward my doctorate in metaphysical sciences. That's where I got my certification as a paranormal investigator. But back then they called it something else. And so I think it was good. In fact, I was just telling somebody the other day, because I want to continue some studies now, and I want to go get my PhD, and I'm about $800 short from doing that, but that's coming. And it's all about research for me. Knowledge, research, learn. Why? Because the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Let's not be a one-hit wonder and start spewing out just one scripture. Studying means studying. Well, when Paul said this, who was he talking to? Or who was he writing to? Well, what did he mean? Well, let's dig down into this. Well, maybe I need to go to the Greek manuscripts. Maybe I need to get a Septuagint. Maybe I need to get the Vine's dictionary. Maybe I need to get this. Maybe I need to get that. Maybe I need to do that. There's so many things that we have been misled on that your eyes would pop probably open. And it wipes out a complete decades of what people have been taught. No rapture, and Christ was born in September and not on December 25th. So, with that being said, let's have a giveaway. Let's have a giveaway. Don't I start on my soapbox. Let's have a giveaway. So it's all good. And I think that, when we start pushing away that, this is my, am I ever going to meet my soulmate? Stop. All souls are mates. You've met many soulmates. Just because and it's so funny because I'll get these calls from women. Oh, I've met my soulmate. You have. Does he feel that way? I don't know. But I do. If you met your soulmate and it was truly your soulmate, he would feel the same way that you do, chickadee. So you need to climb out of those feels. You need to climb out and you need to start focusing on what's good. Do you pray together? No. He doesn't believe in that sort of thing. Okay. All right. Don't let Zelda go here. Let's go. Let's have a giveaway, my darlings. Oh, bless you, heart. My Miss Jessica, watch Chucky. Listen, you want to know this? Very few of those little movies bother me, but Puppet Masters. And I got to tell you this, the new Ghost Adventures came out last night. This was actually a good one. It was a two-parter. And I want you to know, that bothered me. I had to turn it off. Had to turn it off. Because I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you've realized this or not. There seems to be this big influx of paranormal activity. And I think it's because of all these shows, all these different things that have come out. Nobody is trained. Nobody's trained. They go out, they show you what they do, and it feels just like this luxury, this luxury lifestyle that everybody wants to live, this exciting crapola. You've never run and tripped over a tombstone and busted your ankle up so bad you couldn't walk for 2 weeks. That kind of thing happens. Or you bring something home, even though you pray it away. That's not the life. But there's all of this. And the reason being is because we have a lot of amateurs going out there. One day they're working at the AutoZone and the next day they are a paranormal investigator. What are your credentials? Well, I've watched this for 26 seasons. Okay. There we are. I don't know. But I think there is a danger to it. And I want everybody to understand that while we are intrigued, I approach it from a scientific, just like these EVPs that we do with John. Oh, heck yeah, I'm going to be going to that house if those dear people allow it. Heavens, yes. And I'm going to pray over that house with their permission. And I will take attorney Nan with me in tow, bless her heart. And I might even ask Richie Microdots to go along and film it. But for me, I want to approach it from a scientific standpoint, not a woo-woo. And you can see that in my card reading. Let's look into this energy. And you know what? I'm not here to brag, but I'm going to say I have been wrong. But the majority of the readings are right. And it's not because I'm reading the woo-woo future. I'm reading the energy of the situation completely different. Completely. Not conjuring, not trying to replace our Father, reading the energy, because everything spews off energy. And Captain Jerry is my driver extraordinaire. There we go. Yeah, that house. So I will let you know when the time comes. I think at this point, getting the holidays over. It's cold now. I don't like to go, probably next spring I'll be in a better place so we can do this. But I'm going to be doing some other things, my darlings. Now listen, we have a portrait watch that I want to do. I want to show you this painting of the Monticello that I have. I want to show you that, so that way we can have we'll watch and see, because that painting, to me, the windows look like this and the candles look like they flicker. Why? What makes that happen? See, that's my thing. I don't want to sit here and the Akashic records flew down. What energy is going on to make that happen? I know I drive a lot of paranormal people, and I especially drive a lot of psychics crazy. That's okay. Now, I also want to let you know this. True Oracle and Zelda is doing a really big revamp. Whoa! We are really doing, and it's going to be great. We're taking you along for the ride. We've got all kinds of different things. There's going to be a newsletter. And for those of you who have whatever, you will know first what's going on before we announce it with everyone else. The other thing is, when the time comes, I will be having our own paranormal show. It will be members only, and it will be on here. So you don't have to subscribe to another streaming service. But I do want to keep it members only. And I know that you understand why. It's because it keeps the troll count down. From what I've been seeing, it's been very tough on a lot of people. So anyway, all right, let's have a little, oh my, I think you need a piece of gum. You just yawned in my face. All right, let's have a giveaway. Ready? Here we go. We're keeping it real here. We're keeping it real. Everybody, here is the magic word for today. Hashtag Sam. Let's go. Hashtag Sam. And you're going to be entering for this 1 month gift card. Let's go, everyone. Hashtag Sam can be lowercase, uppercase. Enter one time only. Cambridge, not far from Okay, Terry. Okay, my darling. I saw that, Aunt BB. It's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. We don't get as much here because I'm not a primary channel. I just have all those that tell me that I'm going to be going to the hot place. Okay. It's not a joke, but hey, if they want to feel that way, I'll bring the hot dogs. Hashtag Sam, let's go. Let's go. Let her rip, tater chip. Here we go. Sam Miami, look at her. She's got her hand up here. Zelda, I will talk to them. There you are, my darling. Who is laughing? That was my son in the background. I will donate if it has a live in Oz and shipping is just permanent time. Oh, I know, Nate. Oh my gosh, my darling. Here we are, Sam. Let's go. Mount Auburn. Okay. Most beautiful place on earth. Have to get permission to film there, but they like spooky stuff. Okay. Standing says he talked to them. So okay. We also had Nostradamus, right? And everybody wants to fit the narrative. Look here. The narrative for Nostradamus into what's happening. I mean, if people want to say a certain thing, they can also say, look at the predictive programming from The Simpsons. Excuse me. Back off here, buddy. Jody, thank you. We'll catch it here before we go on. It was a hot dog. Nate, there you go. Here we go. Let's go, my darlings. We don't have many entries. Come on now. We have 184 people watching. Let's go. Debbie W., thank you so much for your generosity. Lady Zelda, today is the first birthday of my 10-year-old birthday kitten. Oh, we gave her to him on his birthday. Oh, can Miss Princess Midnight Claudia get a birthday song, please? Do you want it from Sam or do you want it from me? And is that the kitten's name? So it's the first birthday of your 10-year-old's baby kitten. Okay. So do you want Princess Miss do you want Sam to sing it? Oh. Do you want Sam to sing it or do you want me to sing it? Since we have a special request line. See, look. Shaggy Noodle. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, over there. Off topic, but Cassandra Peterson is still doing her character Elvira, right? I saw she's wonderful. She's wonderful. So who do we sing it? Debbie, do we need to sing this from Sam? Does it need to come from Sam or does it need to come from me while you all are coming in there? That was Shaggy Noodle. My cat called like that. Let's go. Let's go. We're waiting on Debbie to say who's going to sing happy birthday to Miss Princess Midnight Claudia. Maybe, see, this is Shaggy. He's a talker. He's a talker. Don't you miss those days when I could get on here and make fun of Jawbone and she's a talker? Shaggy, he was singing it. Time to eat. He says no. He's upset because he wants to be sitting here. And this chick right here, you don't cross the line she puts in the sand. She puts everybody in place, including me. She was laying in bed with me the other night, and I was probably smooching on her too much, and she looked at me and went smack. Okay. There we go. Okay, well, since we're not hearing from Debbie, we'll do it both ways. While you all are entering, we'll do it both ways for your entertainment pleasure. Here is the first. Let me take a drink. Boda Bob says, good old spooky tooth. Good old spooky tooth. No, no. I get it, Rosebud, and I'm glad you did bring it up. No shade. No, nothing taken bad about that at all. Okay, here we go. First version, then Sam will sing it. First version, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Miss Princess Midnight Claudia. Happy birthday to you. And many more. All right, so here is this version is from Sam. Ready? Here comes this version. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Princess Midnight Claudia. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Thank you, Sammy. Oh, wait. Thank you, Sammy. That was beautiful. See, listen. I have too much time on my hands. Are you done? Okay. All right. Last call. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Here we go, my darlings. Last call. We're getting ready. Spin the wheel. Absolutely. Here we go. Here we are. We're drawing. You're welcome, Debbie. You're welcome. Who is going to win? Kelly from Texas. Yay. Bravo. The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas. Reminds me of the one I love. Deep in the heart of Texas. Okay, Samily. Congratulations, Kelly. Let me see. Now, you need to win, you did win. You need to email me, my darling, at Seeing Crime. Tell me you're the winner, and I'll get you your little code. Okay? I love the way your name is spelled. Mommy's girl sitting here. Thank you so much. Way to go, Kelly. So we're going to do, you want another trivia night or? Yeah, I think let's have a trivia night. You want another trivia night? Probably not Dark Shadows, right? We'll do something else. Soon, I'm trying to arrange the interview with the vampire. No, it's interview with the psychic. Hello. I would love to do the pendulum, but unfortunately, the pendulum, I can't hold it right because my art in front of the camera and everything else. I would love to do, we will do that though soon, and I'll figure that out. So trivia, okay. Yay, way to go, Kelly. There you are. Yeah, Josephine is. Yes, ma'am. We're going to do another Charlie Kirk night on the EVPs too, since that energy was, nope. It's everyone for trivia. It's Saturday night at 7 p.m. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. I just ask that you subscribe, and that's free. So everyone is welcome, Nate. We would want you here. When is the next EVP night? You mean for Charlie or for whatever channel that we're doing? Lady Z, when wrapping a sewing needle, how much do you cover? Do you cover the eye, leave it open? What are you wrapping it with? Are you wanting, you're wanting to put that over your deck, right? So what you would do is I would take the deck of cards out of the box, and I would literally thread the needle with black thread, hold the needle on top of the cards like this, hold the needle on top of the cards, and then just wrap the thread around them. And then if you could just cover them like with a black cloth, you're good. You're good. Leave them for about 48 hours and you'll be just fine. Okay, well, we'll be doing EVPs soon. I will announce tomorrow what we're going to be doing on Saturday, okay? And then if it's trivia, you can all start preparing and getting ready, because that was kind of fun, wasn't it? That was fun. Yes, we are going to do that. That probably will be on Sunday. That is members only on True Oracle only. So that we will be doing that on Sunday. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I've just had so much going on. It's been just hard for me. That energy drain is real. Okay. Don't, Debbie. We're not claiming that. Debbie's not getting a cold at all. She's feeling great and in good shape. Possibly, Chaos Granny. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm open to it. Right now I'm not having, oh my goodness, that was a little alligator. Did you see that yawn? You can't be sweepy. You sweeped all day. Nate, yep, standing lady, 20 years or so, cats, dogs, horses. Oh. I'd love to, can I tell you what I really would like to have? When I move, I'm going to look into this, and I just don't know if I can do it or not. Sam keeps telling me no, but there's a reason. I'm going to tell you, I would love to have a cadaver dog. Now, I know that sounds, oh, Zelda, you are the weirdest. No, bless you. Don't do that. Here, you need to get down if you're going to do that, ma'am. The reason I'd like to have that is because do you know how many people are missing and families can't afford to have a cadaver dog? Families, members of families, because they're very expensive. And sometimes they want law enforcement to get the sign off, and, it has to be this sort of thing. Yeah. Because there are some people that are missing that have been missing for like 11 or 12 years. I kind of know where they are, but you just can't go and say, oh, here, I'm a psychic extraordinaire and I'll tell you where they are, because, it's just tough. That's just tough. I would love that. Used to train, search, and rescue. Yes, an SAR dog. I would love to have the cadaver dog. Yes, they're very pricey, and sometimes those dogs can be upwards to $10,000. Remember that little dog that I was telling you about that was in Virginia at that house that they brought. And she was, oh, I loved her. She was a golden retriever. And she had the ability to determine if she had a depth of 16 feet. Now that's huge, right? That's huge. 16 feet down through the ground and sometimes through a vault. Animals are amazing, but they can be upwards of $10,000. And many times people don't have that. And where I'm wanting to go, because see, I'll tell you this, all right? A lot of the dogs that are available are Malinois or a Mal. A Malinois dog is like a cat, but only on steroids. And that's what that's what Chloe was. You know, Chloe from 34 Fairview was actually a Malinois, which was a Shepherd Malinois mix. And I don't want that. And they have shepherds. I want somebody, they've got to get along with the other furry babies. I don't want to come out and have a disaster. So a golden retriever would be, or any retriever, but a golden retriever would make me thrilled. And where I want to move, and I'm still putting that all together, hopefully in November sometime I can make an announcement. I might have room for one. And if that's the case, you know, I mean, we don't know. Might be able to help out some people, and it would be worth it. Right? I hate to say it, we've got wonderful, I'm getting ready to sneeze because of Sam. We have wonderful law enforcement. But then we have the ugly side of law enforcement that is very tough to deal with. So you never know. Nate, I can help hook you up with trainers who do that lovely, oh, you darling. I was an Australian dog whisperer for RSPC. Oh, I love that. My dogs who did most easy to train, and it's $30K. Nate, do you have golden retrievers? Will you email me? I'm not ready yet. You don't know. They're a lot of work. But I'd love to have one. There's a place in North Carolina. But you know, the majority of their search and rescue dogs, the cadaver dogs, minimum of 10,000, and those are trained. And from what I understand, it takes 2 years to train a dog like that. But most of them are police dogs, can be aggressive, can be, you know, some of them are hounds that, you know, a good hound that does this sort of thing. But I'm thinking if I do it, I don't know. I mean, do I not have enough? Let's just do something else. Paula, Zelda, several years ago, I lived in a cemetery gatekeeper, first victim of, oh yeah, we had many wild Halloweens there. Oh, I bet. Wow. Yeah, see, they're very expensive for these dear people. I mean, if I had a loved one and I wanted that, it's very hard to have that. For those who have to pay, we can sort it. If you help do the training 3 days after a storm, can trace with bloodhound. See? That's what's awesome. That's what's awesome. But I don't want an aggressive breed of dog. And to me, a shepherd, a former police dog, a shepherd, Malinois. Oh, the Malinois are the ones that you see. They climb the walls. I've got cats. I already have that. I don't need the doggy part of that. Join a training club, volunteer hours there. You don't have to have, you get no people often looking to adopt. Wonderfully best. Yeah. Yeah. See, thank you very much for that comment. uh, and see, that's the whole thing. This golden retriever that found Elizabeth, she was over 100 years old, buried and into the ground. Nobody would have known. Chloe was, but I believe that her previous owner, before she was rehomed, wanted her to be very aggressive, and she was. I think he was mean to her in some regard. I kind of get that. I kind of get that. Yes, the golden retriever that I was talking about found a burial from the Civil War. That was over 100 years old. And just because they decompose, I mean, in some way that kind of makes it better. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe in dog language. My friends Malinois lived with many cats and dogs, I guess each being a little. Well, for me, if I were to buy one that was already trained and not knowing, I mean, they're going to tell you the history of the doggy, but not knowing. Do I want to take that chance? I don't know. I don't know. The shepherds, I had a German shepherd. His name was Rummel. He was amazing, but he got a little aggressive sometimes, and even with me. And that no. I can't hack that aggression and that concern and worry that if I have somebody over, if they're going to take a hunk out of them, right? And I don't mean bite, hunk. Those dogs made it to the Lamborghini of the dog world. You can train any dog to do it, just like a scent training is a game to find the object, catch it. I will help. Okay, Nate. Okay, my darling. Okay. I gotcha. But see, don't you have to have some certification if you want to help people? Because I'm not going to ask people to pay me $10,000, right? But I don't know. It's just something I thought I would just put it out there for you. We don't know. New Hampshire Fish and Hi, Karen. Game wardens use Goldens and Black Labs as their trained canines. See, I like that. They've got a little bit more. That, I'll tell you what, that golden retriever that was out there that found Elizabeth from the Civil War, I could have hugged that dear sweetheart. In my area, police have comfort dogs. That's nice. Let me see. That is for police work. Just get one bit older and avoid puppy stage. Rescue dog with right trainer. Well, I may need a trainer then. But I would need to be credentialed because I just don't want to be, hi, I'm on the scene now. I'm a psychic and I have a dog. Right? Pardon me. They might be on the other chat, my darlings. They may be on the other chat. I can see both together. Those dogs are amazing. I was actually talking to Mrs. Marie about it, and I said, because we know of a person who has been missing for 11 years. And I kind of think I know where she is based on what I do. But the family the family's been exhausted financially. And the police have pretty much said, cold case, sorry. We had a little energy there. I don't know if you heard that, but okay. Borderline, my 21-year-old son walked into my room and I saw that was TV and asked, what's with the lady? Oh, if your son only knew. There we go. You can do part-time foster and rescue groups that timeshare the dog, and he finds it just the same as finding Pew Pew's money. So just asking to do something. Oh, that's interesting. I love it. Okay. Aunt BB. Yep. Chloe was discarded. She certainly was. Bless her. Bless her, bless her. Virginia, my previous pup literally saved my life. Not specifically trained for anything. She was super lovable, but detected my... Oh boy, long before the doctors did. Isn't that amazing, Virginia? That is just amazing. So thankful for the pups. Paula, shepherds are amazing. I had one for 13 years. Amazing with kids, though he was a... Yeah, see, I think I would... The dog that I would want that would already be trained, bringing him into a new environment with the crowd in the house of Zelda, I just want to make sure. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. Yeah. Ebb and tides, full moon coming. Yes. Yes, yes. Indeed. Thank you so much. But somehow, Zelda, I could see you pulling that off. You know what, Karen? Thank you very much, because I could somehow see myself pulling that off too. Wow. Was this in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton, or Newport News? I would love to check it out. Loving this. Martha. Oh, hi, Martha, my darling. Martha happens to be a client of mine that I read for. I love her. And she's so great because she and I can get together and talk about all the bunny trails that we want to go down. You know, the conspiracy theories. Because every one of them that I've believed in has come true. Now I need new ones. Martha, this was Hampton. Close. You know where I used to live. So it was up in near that area. Up in there now. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Rosebud. That's very sweet. It's very sweet. Thank you. I love the idea of comfort dogs going to medical treatment centers or nursing. There's a dog that goes to the cancer center here and visits with the... See, I've even heard of them taking horses. Isn't that amazing? I told him, that's Lady Zelda. Shania everything. Put respect. Oh my gosh, you are so funny. That's hilarious. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lady Zelda to get certified. Talk to Garrett Wayne. Oh, I'm sure he'll send you the right. Garrett, yes. Yes, yes. I didn't forget about him, but I forgot about him. Thank you for... I better write that down. Garrett Wayne. He's not a puppet master. He's a puppy master. Puppy master. Thank you, because you know what? Miss Melanie mentioned him. Miss Melanie mentioned him in her stream today, and I just kind of blew my head off. Weirdly, I am here to help both Chloe and Karen in this community originally. Really? We'll send you videos on X of 12 cats, 7 unfixable dogs live together. Oh, the cats thought they were dogs. Isn't that hilarious? I can tell you this. Sam would not... Thank you, MJ. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. I think that's kind of exciting to do that because, you know, I'm a huge animal lover. And, you know, now I want you to know there is a paranormal movie out, and then we're going to go say goodnight. But there's a paranormal movie out that's called Good Boy. Don't watch it. I saw just a little bit of it, and it is heartbreaking how they portray this dog and how they do all this stuff to this dog. Stop, people. That's just, if you want to cry, watch it, you know. Karen says, my daughter is an LNA, and there's a lady who brings her Shetland ponies in to see the residents. Don't you just love that? I love that. I would take my cats in, but they'd be like, they're so attitude because they haven't made here. And whose fault is that? Once you know how to ride a bike, program computer, or talk dog, Me Wing is amazing and also gets it. Lots and info out there. Hugs, chat is always awesome. You know what, my darlings? Nate, thank you so much. That's very kind. I love that. On a scale of Pet Cemetery to Old Yeller, where is good boy? Well, he's not unalived. He's on this plane, but he sees bad things, like on the paranormal level, and it's like torturous to him. They make him want, it's like, stop. People, they drive me crazy with this, ridiculousness. Aunt Baby says, I forgot the name, but there's a border collie on YouTube that alerts his mom to low sugar. Right? I love that. I just think that's fantastic. I've seen those. I've seen those. I really do. My aunt was able to keep her alpacas. I love it. In the nursing homes, she could keep making yarn and knitting. Talk about comfort, right? I bet all the CNAs had styling warm winter hats. I bet they did too. And how cool is that? How cool is that? I've seen those. I've seen those channels where those, that sad stuff. I love the animals and I wouldn't want to watch any. No, I thought it was very sad. It was kind of torturous to the doggy because, it was kind of, they were messing with him type stuff. And he was trying to protect his owner. And I just like, stop, people, bunch of, what is wrong with society? I know I'm the one who talks, right? I play around with black masks and ghosts and all this other stuff, but it's like, that seems so much safer to me. Let's see who else is around. I did tell you I was going to get to this. Aunt BB 2, Lady Zelda, just as you began tonight, Boston 25 announced the Fed judge announced farewell trial date set. So I looked, oh my, first week in October of next year. Well, let me tell you this. They have until January to determine if they are going to seek the unaliving penalty. And I hope they do. And if you want to hear something that is a little ironic, I have a copy of a post that John O'Keefe made on Facebook where they were voting HR something or other, not Huff and Puff, but some type of law that anyone who unalived a cop would get the unaliving penalty. And you know what I mean. And John voted for it. So maybe we all know why they're all fighting so hard. I mean, it would be life in prison, just like Donna Adelson, with no possibility of parole, or it would be goodbye girl. Send them off. They're going to go one way or another. You may as well just get it over with and enjoy the trip. Have a last meal. Say goodbye, say goodnight. But I think there's going to be a lot happen between now and then. And I think that he's in that Fed pen singing like a storm. Janice, great storyteller. Love your videos. Thank you, Janice, my darling. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Jody, you're so kind. Thank you. Thank you. Debbie, we did sing. Thank you so much for asking. Terry, Lady Zelda, thank you for having such a peaceful place. Blessings. And may that be returned to you according to God's will, my darling. Thank you so much. And What the Duck? I love that. Became a YouTube member. Welcome to the fold. I know you're going to really like it here. So there you go. Yeah, I was watching a repeat earlier with you and Boozy Beauty, and some reference to John and one of the Alberts in the farewell. Yep, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Sometimes these things can take years, but it's coming. It's yeah. 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 If they don't give him the hashtags, I love that. Thank you, Aunt BB, too. We're going to start using that for unaliving. Let me write that down. Unalive equals hashtags. If they don't give Farwell the hashtags, the stamp out, that means he was singing. Probably. And I think that everybody is going to be a little bit nervous. Do you ever pull a community card for all watching? I don't know what you mean, a community card. But if there is one, sure. But I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking. I wonder where they put the alpacas. I know, I love that. Or it doesn't work like that. I don't know what you mean, my darling Nate. Don't know. Woohoo, I can see again. Michelle, hair is done. I've been listening the whole time. Well, thank you. I think that's why he's staying in. He's singing his head off. Well, they're not going to let him go. He's never had any bail. Never had any bail. Done. Over. So, yeah, he got in. And, here's what I thought today when I heard all this. He went to this big effort to hashtag Sandra Birchmore. And it turns out that wasn't his baby to begin with. How do you think he's feeling? I want to know who the father is. Probably his brother. Amazing. I think, yes, I get it now. I do that on True Oracle, Nate, and that is members only because I got to keep the trolls out. When I'm doing that sort of thing, it is like the trolls gravitate to me. And one time when I did it not long ago, I did not have mods. That was my fault. But there was a group that's called Tarot Destroyers. And they all had the same names. They had multiple YouTube channels. And every time I would block and ban one, another one would come in. Block and ban, another one come in. To the point where they scared everyone and said, well, if everybody was listening to me, they would have their channel disbarred and pulled. They threatened people, and I just thought it was crazy. So that's why I do member only, and that's why I do with mods. So there we go. Let me see. Lindsay Guttani said these people are dangerous. So was incident intentional? I think they are dangerous, but I'll tell you why in a minute. I do not believe it was intentional. I believe they just wanted that some Higgy baby, I'm going to say it, in my opinion, supposedly, allegedly, maybe is my opinion, that Higgy baby wanted to confront John and say, hey, your girl Karen, we pressed lips a little bit. You never know what else is coming. And I think the drinking and the getting riled up at the waterfall had all of this energy. And I think by the time it happened, here's the dangerous part. Once this happened, in my opinion, in my heart, from what John showed me, this happened right around 12:23 in the morning. I think that they beat him up. In my opinion, he was beat up very badly. But they did not take him out front until earlier in the morning, right before Karen, because I think that call at 5:07 from Jennifer to her sister was the heads up call. It said, "Oh, we're coming, we're coming, we're coming. You better take care of it." Click. It was just seconds, but a lot can be said in seconds. We don't know what was said on the call. From the time of 12:23 until the time, let's just say, of 5:07, he probably was very out of it, beat up, not coherent. They most likely moved him initially to prepare to put him out. Somebody had to make the collective decision, and this is why. That injury that he sustained on the back of his head, that injury that Dr. I can't even say her name, Lapisato, that Dr. Lapisato said that within minutes, once you obtained that type of energy, you were gone. It must have been immediately moments before they put him on the lawn, in my thought process. Because it was just minutes. What bothers me about this possibility group, somebody along the line had to make a collective decision about the fate of John. Because after it was done, I'm sure, who's going to look at John and say, what are we going to do? Because if we let him live, he's going to sing like a canary. So who initiates the fatal blow? Who does this? Who's going to be held responsible? I believe it was a collective decision, if it were them. John has mentioned names to me. John has mentioned names. It will not surprise you, but I believe one would. I can't say them because I'm not going to get in trouble, but they're going to be coming out. They're going to be coming out because as time goes on, nervousness can make you imagine, and it can fill you with anxiety to the point where your own spirit, or even those spirits that are out there that work on you when you know the difference between right and wrong. I've seen cases personally where, and there was a man that I know of right now today that unalived, so hashtagged somebody, and it was covered up. He walked. Nobody ever knew it. But he said, as time went on, the pressure and the guilt, and finally he became haunted by the person. It basically said, look, what is your quality of life? What is your quality of life? So he turned himself in, and he's spending life in prison. He walked right in and said, I'm guilty. Just put me away. went to his arraignment and said, I don't need any court, Your Honor. I'm guilty. I don't need a plea. Just put me away. I can't stand it any longer. I need to be free and I need to pay for what I've done. Now, do I see that with these group? No. Chaos Granny, what I don't understand is if it was truly an accident, why wasn't 911 called? Because nobody wanted to take the responsibility. Because even if it was an accident, you would have to go through some type of legal something, an arraignment, to clear it up. And they could not take the chance of John recovering enough to say, I walked in the house and this one, and this one beat the absolute tar out of me. And I heard everything they said, including how much they laughed at me when I was laying on the floor. They could not take that. So what is Paul's deal with hating Karen? He hates Karen because he was jealous of Karen and John. Karen bailed him out of jail. Now that's my opinion. Karen bailed him out of jail for his mishaps. And he has to hate Karen. How else is he going to get money from her? He's convinced. They're convinced that they're going to get money. It's not going to happen. I don't see it. There are not going to be any settlements. There's not going to be anything else like that. The chick coming in from California, good luck. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Paula, pardon me. I happen to agree. I know you can't say names, but can you tell us how many names John was giving you for? And there were 5 people that carried him to the road. Do you think one will spill? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I don't think anybody is talking right now, but I think they might get close. And if they're thinking that the feds are going to come back in, because I've seen convictions on circumstantial evidence that's a lot less than this. But as we know, the feds like to have solid things. That's why they took 11 years. It's kind of funny. 11 years with Donna Adelson, because every time that I think of them, I think of 40 years in the wilderness. It felt like it, but when it should have only taken 11 days. I know there's not really that correlation there, but they will do with them. I'm sure they have set them up. I'm sure that they've got much more than what they think. Was that on the news, Lady Zelda? Because there was a similar story on the news. Wouldn't have been caught if he hadn't turned himself in here. I don't know. I think there's been a lot like that. Most likely it was. Most likely. I talked with him one time because he wanted to know why. He never told me what had happened. He wanted to know why he was being, I can't even think of the word he was using, but evidently he had some very torturous entities visiting him. And I told him that it was based on something that he had done and that he has to clear the decks. And he said, that's what I was thinking. But I just needed to get advice. It wasn't because of me. He just needed confirmation. Yeah. How can you live with that, really? Right? I'll tell you how. When you're the Penelope politician. Anybody in that story remind you of that? Penelope politician who's willing to go to the depths of HE double hockey sticks, hire a witch, or have voodoo dolls, possibly, sort of, kind of, maybe. I don't know. What lengths will people go to when every step they take, because see, at this point, they can't act natural, because what really is natural? Being, I don't know, scummy is natural, I guess. I don't know. Karen says $0 is what they'll get. I believe that too. Nate says they knew I was going down. Then owners of dog Chloe were also inadvertently responsible and all wanted zero responsibility. Lucky and Karen both saved by Chloe Marks. That's right. Karen going to own that town. She sure will, Nate. Oh, the state. She will own the state. Because I've been seeing, there were some people today that Miss Melanie and her, they're getting $18 million from the state of New York for something. Oh, that's a drop in the bucket with what Karen's going to be getting. I don't think Karen regrets bailing Paul out of jail. Because at the time she felt it was the thing to do. And I think she did it for John's sake as well as Mr. O'Keefe. So I bet that's what it is. Let me see. Let me see here. What is? I'm sure there's many people that know what's going on. Kinda. It's not done yet. I would suggest staying out of it. Because I am. Zelda, do you think the ABC agents gather on multiple incidents and people from multiple incidents before proceeding with any particular incident? Let me think that. Gathering on multiple incidents and people from multiple incidents. Yes, I think that it can be, one can work around in the other. Well, let's think about something for a second. Sandra Birchmore's case happened almost a year before John. I know that John probably knew a lot more about Sandra's case than what he wanted to let on, but that's just my opinion. But let's think about this. They did all this during a nor'easter, a snowstorm. And somebody along the way thought that Matthew got away with it. So for me, I believe there is a connection of, should we wait until there is a snowstorm because we know it's inevitable? Because, in snowstorms, you don't have to put up, as far as they're concerned, you don't have to put up crime tape. Your scene can get stomped on. Things can get misplaced. I think they really thought that there was something to that. Yeah. Okay, my darlings. Yes. And I think they have been gathering it. Yes. I don't think so. I don't think so. There's been a lot of rumors about that. I don't think that he has. I think they have a cottage out of state, but I don't think that he's gotten a divorce. We've heard that many times. I don't think so. Let me see. Hi, Lisa. I haven't watched you long enough, but what was their reason for doing this to John? I wish I could say a definitive reason, Lisa, but I believe that jealousy was behind it on many parts. I, for one, in my opinion, believe that Jennifer McCabe sort of had the hots for John, and she didn't like Karen. Getting Karen accused would take Karen out of the equation. Even though John wouldn't be alive, Penelope, politician. Drinking. I think also when Brian Albert and Higgy Baby went to they can go out of state to officer's funeral that they didn't know, but they can't go to the funeral of John O'Keefe, and who they sat on the witness stand and said, oh, he was my brother, and oh, blah, 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 da, 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 da. But I think on the way back, if they even did go, because they were soused, in my opinion, and I think on the way back, when I think Brian was fueling the fire with Higgy Baby and kept picking on him. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You think she likes it with John O'Keefe more than she would like it with you? Oh, really? You think so? You know how that sort of thing goes. You know how that is. Kim C. Lady, I went to a psychic fair for the first time ever this month. So fun. They are fun. They are fun. I'm glad you went. Nate, then the dog pulled John to the ground and hit his head. Whole family friends for 20 years. They were new. My 2 cents. There's more to it than that. John showed me a lot of what was happening. So it's very, very unfortunate. But listen, however it happened, it should not have. It should not have. And I feel just as bad for Chloe. I do not believe that it was Chloe's fault. She was made to be that way from those people. Yeah. Yeah. From those people. My darlings, we've been here almost 3 hours. That's been some haunting, hasn't it? Oh, and look who's back now. The Stomper extraordinaire. So anyway, my darlings, it's been a lot of fun. We're going to have to say goodnight. I got to figure out something to feed my troops with. Thanks a lot for being here. I had a great time. So glad you liked the stories. So glad you like all this other stuff. I just love it myself because I love having you here. So with that being said, don't forget Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, be here, aloha. I will announce tomorrow what we're going to do so you can get a little leg up on any trivia if that's the case. Sleep well tonight. Be safe, my darlings. Kiss your babies and say a prayer. And I will see you, my boos, very soon. From my house to yours. Bye for now. And so, the lantern fades, but the shadows remain. This story may end here, or perhaps it's only just begun. See you soon.